Today we have our guest speaker, Sal Janya, and she will be talking to us about the history of the thriller genre.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay. Okay, well, let's go on to thrillers. Okay, in your point of view, what is a thriller? What makes a thriller?
I think, well, this is the actual definition. Thrillers are a genre of literature, film and television programs that uses suspense, tension and excitement as the main elements. So I think nowadays the common genre is psychological, political thrillers, paranoid thrillers, and I think I should really mention our famous thriller director, Alfred Hitchcock, and he made most of the thriller films possible.
Okay then, that's really good. Okay, let's start with the early thrillers.
Yeah, I'm sure we can talk about that. I mean, thrillers are heavily stimulate the viewer's mood, and it creates such a high level of anticipation. So it creates uncertainty, anxiety, suspense, tension, everything. The feeling that when you watch a thriller film is just unimaginable. I should go back to my point. Alfred Hitchcock helped to shape the modern day thriller genre, beginning with his early silent film, The Lodger. It was a successful Jack the Ripper story, famous history prodigy, and it was followed by his next thriller, Blackmail, in 1929, and that was his actual first sound film. How amazing is that? Though it was also released as a silent version.
Oh, that's really interesting. So what about the 1950s? Let's move on.
Yeah, sure we can. In the 1950s, Hitchcock added Technicolor, so you can see a development in the technology here, and to his thrillers, now with exotic locals and glamorous stars. He reached the zenith of his career with a succession of classic films such as Strangers on a Train, which was taken in 1951.
That's really interesting. Okay, let's take us to a more recent time from the 1970s.
Well, 1970s to 1980s really saw, it was a decade which saw violent start to thriller films, a more gruesome approach to the storylines. With Frenzy 1972 by Alfred Hitchcock. It was his first British film in almost 2 decades, and it was R-rated, obviously, to the gruesomeness of the film. Thrillers of this decade compared are more to do with psychological ones that dealt with obsession, domestic violence.
So this is the 1900s and
compared
like
to
present.
I mean, it was more revenge, mentally ill characters, and the protagonist's goal of escape. So it's a complete change to how it's more now.
Okay. So what about the technology? I've seen it's advanced from black and white to more different.
I think the technology used in the cinema industry for thriller films have changed massively, and this is because back then obviously media was not, developed, and it just gradually depicted, which means it created such a great importance for thriller films, for movie nowadays. There's so much effects and software available to project the thrilling effect that you want. I mean, blood here and there, so gruesomized. So technology did play a massive part in developing it. Back then you had black and white pictures, now you have colour. And the props back then, I should say, they look a bit amateurish, I'm sure you all must agree. But now it looks more developed, much more professional, which makes you believe, yes, actually, that is real. It's quite convincing.
Okay, thank you for that. What about the audience, the money and the funding that you get? What about how has that changed?
Audience back then, there were no particular age restrictions for people to watch a thriller film. And the awareness of people had become more dominant or predominant nowadays, and therefore a young mind needs to be channelized in the correct and responsible way. So that's why people nowadays put age restrictions on thriller films, because they don't want to scare the kids. Also back then, transport was a big, not big problem, but it was not developed, which meant people did not get out as much, and you had the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl all coming in, and it really did affect the social status of the country or city, and this meant public did not have the access, the access was more difficult. nowadays people are willing to perceive many novel concepts and ideas if presented in a captivating manner.
So this thing's into the participation of the public.
Yeah, they're welcoming it, they're receiving it really well, which is really good compared to how it was before. I mean, you still have Psycho. Back then it was aimed at a different audience, but people still enjoy it nowadays. So that's really good. Money, due to economic developments, back then less money was put into the producing, the production, the creating the films, especially with this particular genre, because it's not a romance movie or a comedy movie. You need more props, you need it to be much more scary, realistic. So they tried as much as they can to bring that in, but money did play a huge role, and it is cost investment. Nowadays people are willing to invest lots of money in major projects and films, as the impact of the audience is, in general, for this particular genre is more optimizing. It's encouraging youngsters to go and watch this kind of thriller genres, like, ooh, there's a scary movie out, I'm going to go watch Scream. It's all very encouraging, which makes directors and people out there in the media industry to go ahead and create more thrilling films.
Okay. So what would you think about the participation of the people from the public and watching these kind of thriller movies?
Participation, I think more people, to be honest, are willing to come forward and act and participate in thriller films, because the new concept of psychological crimes, or, you know, this girl getting kidnapped, or all of these kind of new storylines really appeals to the younger audience, and they see and they show a lot of appreciation for that subject, and because of their, you know, the skills, they want to come, they want to project themselves, people are more, you know, much more confident. There's a difference in that, whereas back then it was different, and people were restricted for so many reasons.
That's really all quite interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. This is it for now. Thank you, Sarjani, our guest speaker, for having her here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
And next time, don't worry, next time we'll have a great new guest star, Will Smith, talking on comedy for our next Hotspot show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.